What is going on, guys? Hey, I wanted to bring to you a podcast a friend of mine and I did this season called The Road to Hell. And The Road to Hell is kind of based on a blog post I wrote early in the week. And that blog post is about how absurd things have gotten. You know, people aren't worried about being virtuous. They're worried about virtue signaling. They're worried about posturing to, show you how good they are. And they want to stick a bumper sticker on the back of their car and let you know just how kind they are and how much they think about the environment or Black Lives Matter or, whatever issue they're pushing. But anyways, guys, listen to my podcast and let me know what you think. Thanks. Gonna again kind of shoot the shit, talk about different things. And one thing I wanted to bring up is I've started a new podcast channel called The Patriarchal Bastard. And we're going to have a lot of our podcasts in the future on that channel. And we're going to be discussing pretty much everything from current events to kind of what's going on in the world right now and kind of how to navigate the absurdities that's going on in life. And also kind of talk about some of the challenges that we're facing now, compared to what we had before. And, just going over stuff and, sometimes being, kind of super serious and whatever. And other times just, complete, jackassery, just saying whatever.
Well, I'm always super serious.
Yes, you are, Curtis.
And
you are super serious, and so am I.
And you are a patriarchal bastard, if I ever knew one.
I am, and I wear it proud. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about getting a hat. I'm thinking about getting me a hat with patriarchal bastard.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yep. A big trucker's hat with the logo I'm thinking about is a man smoking a pipe. Like fathers know his best. The pipe hanging out of his mouth and horns coming out of his head.
Well, that's you. That's you in a nutshell.
That is me. Well, it's what my kids think of me and probably my wife most of the time, too. So it's like, I might as well wear it proud.
Well, but you're the best patriarchal bastard I know.
I'm trying.
There are a lot.
I don't know.
There are a lot more of them out there than we're aware of, and you're one of the best.
I'm trying my best. I really am. I don't have the pipe smoking down yet, but I'll work on that.
Oh, you'll pick that up. You'll pick that up.
I'll definitely work on that. If I can get that going. But anyways, yeah, I wanted to open up the channel because I figured the change vision is great for some of our stuff, but that patriarchal bastard, that's something, again, that could be great for kind of the world. It's kind of a channel from our perspective, from guys' perspective on things. I figured we would be on there most of all. And then we'd have people like Jordan on there for now and then talking about workout stuff. And my brother who owns a small gym in Hawaii. And, even people like your roommate, Tim.
Yeah.
Just people with from their points of view, from their because not all guys are the same, they want to put us into a group and we're all the same. We're all a certain way. And it's like, we're not all the same. We're not all the same person. It's not like all black people aren't the same. All the women aren't the same. All, all men are not the same.
There's a great amount of
And
diversity within each group. And you know what
yep,
I'm proposing? We need to get more patriarchal bastards to come out of the closet and start a
yep.
patriarchal bastard pride parade.
Just be proud to,
Be a
yeah,
patriarchal
we'll
bastard.
wave our flags and, walk around in assless chaps
There you
and,
go.
and yeah, and just kind of be, proud to be straight men,
There you
just
go.
regular old, just, because we also include gay men, but see, gay men normally don't want much to do with patriarchal bastards. I don't know why,
Well,
but,
secretly a lot might.
yeah, that's true.
You
That's
know,
true. And of course, they're always welcome to come on the Patriarchal Bastard and to be a member of
patriarchal
this
bastard.
patriarchal bullshit society
There
that
you
we have.
go. Where
Yep.
would we be without the patriarchy?
I don't know
Yeah, well,
where we would be without
you know,
the patriarchy.
should we replace it with a matriarchy?
We could. I think in some ways it'd be great. Well, in other ways I think it would not be. But the fact of the matter is, I think we already have a majority. If we really want to be
I
honest
do
about this,
too.
we are. I think that the women's aspect, everything runs the world now. It's not. It's like it's more of a female trait to be, victims and yell about this or yell about that. I mean, really honestly, I know it's gonna piss a lot of people off, but it's like the nature, it's more of a female characteristic to kind of be what we think of as female, to kind of be the victim, to kind of, complain about things, to kind of identify themselves as this particular victim class.
But at the same time,
Right.
don't you feel that this constant complaining and victimhood is nothing more than a manipulative way to stay in control?
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah,
that we're more in
I do.
control by women than we've ever been in our history.
Yep. I definitely feel so too. I feel that honestly, we're right at this place where we're not dealing with the fact that, yeah, we are so controlled by this whole concept of like victimhood and Me Too and this class of we buy into the ideas. I'm not saying it's run by necessarily women, but we buy into more of a female pole, identity pole than, because these characteristics are not John Wayne.
Well, yeah.
They're not Clint Eastwood. They're not the strong alpha male. It's not, that's not what this is. This is more of a watered down victim culture than masculine culture. So it's like, if we want to find an issue with society right now, it's not men. Masculine identity doesn't really run this. I mean, if we are run by a bunch of men, why are we discussing in front of Congress pronoun usage? Why are I mean, they wouldn't be happening. If it were run by men, men be like, you know what, we're not having that. We're not. Well, if it were a very masculine patriarchal society, we wouldn't have that.
And I feel that this traditional role of masculinity to not complain about being a victim has actually worked against men, because they've stood back and put up with a bunch of abuse in many ways, and caricature and constant devaluing from the mainstream media. And this has worked against men who feel that they just need to be strong and just keep their mouth shut.
Yep.
But you have to speak the
Yep.
truth. When's the
Yep.
last time you saw a TV show where the man was actually portrayed in a very positive light?
Yeah, being, most of the time, it's kind of like a blog post I wrote a while back during the summer. It said, when it's very common on TV, even when I was growing up in the 80s and early 90s and stuff, to have a husband or wife, a couple,
Mm-hmm.
and the wife walks up and pats the guy on the stomach and says, "You get a little heavy there," or, Ralph or
Mm-hmm.
whatever his name is, and but and the audience laughs at that. But if he walked up behind her and patted her on the butt and said, "Get a little heavy there," Janet, it'd be like, "Oh my God," no, I mean,
That's
that's
sexist.
not, yeah, that's
That's
you're shaming
that's
her.
harassment.
Yeah, it's like that. There's no way that we're living in this. Again, I watched part of the one. Oh, I forgot the lady's name. She was the new Supreme Court justice that was confirmed
Yeah,
a while back.
Amy.
Amy, yep, whatever her last name is. But I was watching part of that, and I was thinking to myself, they were asking her questions about what is a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Can you define what that is? Can you give us the definition? Like, and I don't know if you remember everything that was asked of her. I can't right now off the top of my head, but she was asked a few questions about things.
Yeah.
And it's like she couldn't answer the questions.
Oh, yeah, I got
It's
the
like
name
if
wrong. Yeah, but go ahead.
Yep. If we live in a patriarchal society that's based on the patriarchy, why in the hell would we be discussing this? Because that would, I mean, if we lived in traditional male, we wouldn't be worried about hurting everybody's feelings over calling them the wrong pronoun.
Well,
We'd be,
and what was so disturbing is she said that she couldn't answer that question because she was a biologist. She wasn't a biologist, and I'm sitting
was
thinking,
my old.
well, basically, you're just erasing women from the law. If you don't even know what a
Yep.
woman is, how in the hell could you come decide cases that were built around women's rights? Seems to me you
Right,
need to have some
exactly.
concept.
You've got to have some concept of what, what a woman is, because the fact of the matter is. But again, I think where the reality of it, of course, she knows what a woman is. It's an adult female, but the fact of the matter is, she doesn't want to hurt the feelings of other people. She wants to, and I don't think we'd be in this place if there was a true patriarchy.
I
It's
agree.
like we wouldn't be doing this, because men, as a whole, and I'm not going to say all men,
We understand,
but I think
yeah.
men are more that men, I think for the most part, are not. It's like we're a little more cut and dry than it's like, if sometimes even with my wife and kids, it's like, and I'm sure I'm difficult at times too. I'm sure I am, but I'm much more like, if we're going to be honest, blah, and I say it. It's kind of like, I plop it out there. This is it, and it's like, they're and sometimes we do hurt people's feelings. I think men are a little less sensitive to that kind of stuff. And I think right now we've, not only are we sensitive, but we've gone way above and beyond,
Well, see, the proof is not only have we taken feelings to an exaggerated degree, but now we're defining woman as a feeling. It's how you feel. I mean, most people wouldn't think that you could redefine womanhood as just a feeling.
Right. Right.
And so how can you not
It,
hurt feelings if what they are is a feeling?
that's right. That's right. I mean, you know, and again, kind of one point that I was, oh, well, a couple of points that I was trying to make in my blog post. That's called The Road to Hell.
Hmm.
And it's on changeofvision.com if you want to check it out. But um, in The Road to Hell, I kind of, the first thing that and I got a list here of things I was trying to kind of points I was trying to make in that blog post
Yeah.
is the first thing is, what does it mean to be virtuous? What does that mean? And you know, it's I think right now at this stage in human development, if you want to even call it that, is where we're more concerned with looking
Yes.
virtuous than actually being virtuous. And and we're more concerned with having a certain posturing, a certain like, I'm very against racist. I'm
Hmm.
anti-racist. It's not just not being racist. It's I'm
Hmm.
anti-racist. I speak up against that. In reality, of course, you don't. You just say you do.
It's
But
like you said, it's posturing, virtue
yep,
signaling.
virtue. Right. Yep. That's the terminology for that. Yeah, I kind of forget that. But yeah, I mean, and what does that mean? What does if you're trying to act a certain way, are you actually being virtuous, or are you just trying to appear virtuous for not for other people's
Hmm.
gain, but for your own, to look a particular way in front of people?
Don't you think a
And
lot of people, it's just because they want to look good or they're afraid of looking bad? So they know all the right words to say. But
yep,
virtue to me is a
you
way
hit
of
you hit,
life.
yep, you hit the nail on the head when you said saying the right words, saying the right things so they don't look like a
Mhm.
sexist or racist or transphobic, or we're saying the right words. It's like, is that really kind? Is that really something we want to do? Is that, the other day I saw a post on Facebook, and of course I'm not going to say whose post it was, but this person said something about kindness and about if we wanted to act, if we ought to be if we could be kind to every person out there, how much better would things be? Like she drew the idea that if we, that idea that if you would talk good to plants, plants talk kindly to plants,
Mhm.
plants grow. And it's like, and she said, imagine if we talked to people in a kind manner, and imagine also if we didn't talk negatively to people, what the impact would be. And it's like, yeah, I agree with that. Talk kindly whenever you can, but it's like, you can't always talk kindly to people. It's like sometimes to actually be kind is to tell them, stop running in that direction. You're not paying attention. There's a damn
Well,
cliff in front of you.
when you said that, yeah, talking kind can make plants grow, but what about, why would I want to talk kindly to poison ivy plant? Okay, do I
Right.
want more of that?
Yep.
Well, there are people that are like
Yep.
poison ivy, and talking kind to them, you
Right.
don't want that to grow.
Yep. You don't want that part of them
Right.
to
You don't want
grow.
the poison.
You don't want, you don't want the poison. But yeah, I mean, if we're sometimes in order to be kind, we got to say something like my kids touching a hot stove. It's like, don't touch that. You got to, it's like, and it might scare them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my son back in, 2011. He, we were at my brother's wedding up in Pennsylvania, and my son was, I guess two or three, two. He was two, and the next morning when we got up in the hotel room, my wife was ironing her blouse or whatever she was, a dress or whatever she was wearing that day. I forgot, but she was ironing that, and I was, busy, putting on my tie or whatever I was doing, and getting dressed in the mirror, and she turned the iron off and moved it away, put it on where the sink is, and moved it so it was facing the sink, because she was very concerned that our son was going to walk up and try to grab it or whatever. And she was standing right there, but she had turned her back for a second to get something. And he walked right up and grabbed it. And, of course, when he grabbed the handle. But the other hand, he went and grabbed the front. And it burned him.
Yeah.
But the very first thing that we did was like, whoa, stop. And that made him cry more than the being burnt.
Yeah.
But, but it's like we're trying to tell him before he got burnt that, hey, look, you're going to get burnt and don't do it. And it's like, so sometimes when we talk, we have to tell people, and to be kind, we got to tell people things like, "Hey, don't go down there. There's a guy with a gun down there. Don't do that. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna," and it's like you sometimes, in order to be kind, you got to be forceful, and you got to speak in ways that aren't considered kind. You gotta, and I think that's one important point, because I think that, again, is kind of this feminizing way of societal feminizing that we're kind of hitting into right now. Is we're all so concerned about not hurting each other's feelings, and with doing that, it's like we're not dealing with the fact that sometimes, again, we've got to say things that aren't going to sound kind, and we're more concerned with the tone of voice, how to say things.
Yeah, being pleasant. So many people.
Yep.
Okay, there's a difference between, to me anyway, there's a difference between being kind and being pleasant. Being pleasant is easy to do if you want to. Being kind means that you have love behind the intention of what you're going to say or what you're going to do, is that behind it is an act of love. And if you love someone, you have to deal with them honestly.
Right.
But nowadays, you're supposed to people expect you to just be pleasant. Like lots of times
Right.
you get kicked off, get deplatformed because you weren't pleasant. You stated something that, quote, hurt somebody's feelings, but it can often be the truth.
Right. Yep. And I think that's what's so dangerous. Again, that's why one of the reasons I love to have you talk to you about this stuff, because you're Mr. Linguistic, so you got, but yeah, but you're right. I mean, you're talking about pleasantness versus actual kindness.
Right.
Sometimes it's kind. Sometimes it's kind not to be
That's
pleasant.
right. That's part of being a parent,
And
isn't it?
yeah, that's part of being a parent. Sometimes I can't be
Pleasant.
pleasant. It's like I've told you 5 times, get your ass to bed. It's like the first 3 times it was like, okay, it's time to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth time it's like, get to bed. The fifth time it's like, get your ass to bed.
Yeah.
So it's like,
You have to really let them know
you gotta do
need
that.
it.
Right. And it's like, it's not because we're trying to be mean to our kids. That's because they get to school the next day.
Mm-hmm.
They got things, we got things to do. We can't let them, there was a post I saw on Facebook a couple of years ago where somebody has said, don't stifle the kids, allow them to jump in puddles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, yeah, if I can allow them to jump in a puddle, I will. But most of the time, if you're on your way to school, I can't say, yeah, go ahead and jump in that puddle. Because we're going to be late for school.
Right. Or if you're
we
on your
can't.
way to church, you don't want them to jump in a puddle with their Sunday best on.
Right. Right. You always get that from people that don't have kids.
Yeah.
Or never experience that kind of stuff. It's like, they don't realize, and of course both of us do, but they don't realize what you go through as a parent. You have to, you can't just, get them all ready and dressed and take them out of the school bus and then say, yeah, go ahead and jump in that puddle over there. It's like, that's not even realistic. Here comes the bus. I can see the bus coming down the street, and I'm not going to just let the kids jump in the puddle because they're just being a kid. Let them jump in a puddle. It's like, no, you can't do that.
But you
can't.
One of the biggest dangers of this being pleasant all the time is that we're using it to basically censor speech. And it's affecting online communication in ways I've never thought we would have to put up with. I'm surprised at the amount of censorship now on media platforms because you're hurting someone's feelings or you're speaking bad about a group and to me this is part of the American way. I feel like I should be able to say anything I want as long as it's not a direct threat to a person.
Yep.
So if we don't watch, we'll be limited at the range of ideas we can even discuss openly and honestly.
Yep. No, you're exactly right. We are so concerned with hurting everyone's feelings that we're not. It's just, again, I know I harp on this a lot, but it's kind of like the transgender movement. It's like, and again, nothing against people that are, but it's like, we've got to be honest, like, north is north, no matter where you are on this earth, north is still north, south is south, east is east, west is west. It's like, you know what? And chopping body parts off of kids for that are healthy, chopping healthy body parts off of kids is wrong.
And here again,
I'm sorry.
That's not kind, is it? I don't think it's kind. I don't think it's kind to have your children's healthy body parts chopped off.
Yep. I don't think it's good to have a 16-year-old girl's breast chopped off because she wants to transition. Or because she's being kind of, she has no idea what is upcoming for her.
That's right.
And it's like we can't, or, kids that are healthy and normal being put on hormone blockers. It's like, again, we can't, we got to call something the way it is. And north is north, south is south, and that is wrong. And it's like, it's we know, if we're really honest with ourselves, we know what's right and we know what's wrong. And, that's wrong. And it's like, again, but everybody wants a subjective truth. They want subjective reality. And it's like, okay, yeah, I understand you perceive things differently. Everyone does. But at the same time, it's like, but at the same time, we understand there are certain things that are right, certain things that are wrong. It's not subjective. You can say, well, I see things differently because I'm a different person. Well, okay, that's fine. But I guarantee you, you will see it the same if you're shot. If somebody threatens you with a gun, I don't care who you are, you're going to see that in a very similar way. And there are other things that we see in similar ways. And I think, again, chopping the breast of a 16-year-old girl is wrong. As long as she's healthy, she has breast cancer, I understand. But, it's healthy kids should not be subject to that kind of stuff. And it's like, and again, we understand there is reality, and everybody's reality is a little bit different, but it's like, there are certain universal truths, and
yeah, but you shouldn't.
Again,
I don't feel like you should be able to impose your reality on me.
Yep, you're right. You're 100% correct.
I respect your right to believe you're a camel. But that doesn't mean I have to accept that you are a camel.
Yep. It's like, I remember I was thinking the other day, I think I was talking to you, it's like, if I see myself as a horse, but doesn't, if you don't want to accept, well, Eric, you're not a horse. You're just a human. And I'm sorry, but you're not. And it's like, I wish maybe some things were horse-like.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's like, I'm not a horse. I'm a guy. And it's like, I have to make you complicit to my delusion. I have to make, I'm requiring that you refer to me as Mr. Ed.
Yeah, and see, I'm not going to go along with that.
Right.
Because I feel like that's not good for you, and it's not good for me.
Yep.
Because believe me, you're just delusional.
Yep.
Because you're not a horse. I know you think you are. Okay, but you aren't.
Yep, it ain't that big. It's like, but